Edwards here. I had a letter from Stevens I wanted to share with you, and ask that somebody look up Facebook for me, since I'm not a Facebook person, after we read this. So Karen usually sends their ties in a little short letter and fills me in on what they're doing and what's going on. So, dear Donnie, Chuck had to run to Florida last month, but the bad news was he had work to get done and couldn't be there on Sunday. He did drive by the church and took a picture for me. I see someone is taking care of the place as it was looking good. You were outside. Or maybe it's just looking good to me. Anyway, he did go by Loaves and Fishes and was very happy to discover that our branch was the big money maker for the Walk of Hunger. They have once a year. I talked to Arlene the other day, and she said pain is still on the prayer list. She gets her blood drawn regularly, and her numbers tanked again last month, so she ended up in the hospital again. She's had that happen a few times before. Suddenly her body just rejects everything. Anyway, she got through, and her meds have all been changed, and she's going along like normal again. There's no news on the pain in her legs yet. There's a convention coming up, so the doctors and parents, as many as can come together, are getting together, and she will be getting some information on how to live with her disease and how to deal with the emotional side of things. A friend of the family set up a page on Facebook to take donations so they could attend. So if anybody could look up Facebook for me and try to find that, to see what that is. I don't know what it's listed under, but I guess if you're friends with Karen and them, you should see it, maybe? I don't know. So if we could find that, that'd be great. If not, I'll try to call her. Even though it's a rare disease, she is not alone in what she's going through. As for Chuck and I, his mother has spent a couple weeks in Montana visiting friends and relatives, so we've been on our own. Chuck's done a little running around, and he's the one that's really confined. But mostly we've had some nice quiet conversations again. He leaves in 5 days to get her and bring her home. She's been having a great time, so we didn't need to worry about her having people to help her out. I'm planning a trip to see Mom in September, but no idea when we'll get to Florida for a visit. I love Karen. So we're plugging along, busy, and curious on how we can maybe assist a little bit with getting Peyton and her mom and dad to that conference, so they can get some. Is it there? Do they have a date on it?
I don't see a date for like the conference, but I found the
site.
site.
Okay. So that's something. Heather, would you get how to get there so I can go on and I could probably make a donation right through that, right? Okay. Does it say how they're coming with it or totals or anything?
Yeah, I guess the goal is 2,500, and right now they have 545.
Okay, good. Okay, so we'll look into that as a branch and as individuals if you like. Everybody knows about Dad. He's fractured back. When I took him to his doctor, and the doctor was telling him he had a fracture, he told him you're a 90-year-old, you have a 90-year-old bones, you need to stop picking things up. So I agreed with him. We'll see how that goes. Dawn wasn't feeling very well today. Of course, we had him at the emergency room, so she probably picked up something from the hospital. coffee and stuffy, so she stayed home to be with them and take care of herself. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm going to turn it over to Paul.
Okay, about ready now?
Okay, let's make it official. Good morning.
Good morning.
There you go. Apologize for my unpreparedness this morning. Things being what they have been for the last few weeks kind of got away from me, but that's the only excuse I've got, so. I know there are no other announcements. You had a chance. I want to mention one thing. The prayer list is about as complete as it's going to get. I guess it's about, we got everybody on there it needs to be, don't we? Does anybody know of anything that, any changes? Of course, the last change is Don being injured there with his back. So other than that, the first list stands as you've got it.
So I guess update everybody on Arlene,
Okay.
if you would.
Well, the only thing I know about Arlene is that her, they called, my brother actually took the call, and what he said was that she's just feeling very bad again. And between her and Dan both feeling bad that they just weren't able to make it. I don't know anything about her trips to the hospital that you were talking about
Yeah,
before.
so I had also talked to her, her doctor is pretty sure she has food poisoning.
Oh, great.
So she's on antibiotics, and that's messing her stomach up, so we'll probably ought to keep her on our thoughts and prayers. And Dan's, he's just been weak this week, so probably from all the running with her, so.
Yeah. I didn't know that because my brother took the call and he just said that they were feeling down and wouldn't make it. I'm sure be praying for them. That's, food play is no fun. I only had it one time. That was enough. I didn't have a call to worship this morning, so if you don't mind, we'll kind of let that one go. We've got a very small group that's here this morning, so as for our prayer and testimony, it's going to be a little perhaps abbreviated. Nonetheless, I've always felt that when we come together for worship service, it's still significant. You've heard Dan and myself mention many times that the group that we had in Daytona Beach, where there were six members constituted the entire congregation, and yet we still met with some very meaningful worship services. Most of the time in classes rather than preaching services, being only 6 people, and yet we did have a preaching service once a month, and they were very meaningful. And that is the way that I think that anytime we come together in that spirit, the Lord accepts that as a truly worshipful service. If you want to turn in your hymnals, please, to hymn number 18. We'll get this service started with hymn number 18 as our opening hymn. So let's rise and have sing this hymn and have an invocation. Would you please? Hymn number 18. For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our earth over and around us lies. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the beauty of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of honor and I, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human love, brother, sister, parent, child, friends on earth and friends above, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For thy church that evermore lifteth holy hands above, offering up on every shore her pure sacrifice of love. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. Almighty Father in heaven, once again a small group of thy people have joined together to worship thee, Father, and ask that you might be with us this morning. Allow us, Father, to sense thy presence. Allow us to be uplifted and strengthened. Father, we indeed have come before thee to worship, to praise, and to learn. We ask, Father, that all things we do this day might be acceptable unto thee. For unto thee we give all the honor, the praise, and the glory, and ask it in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I've written down hymn number 294 as a hymn of before our offering, 294. So we can turn to that one for a moment. And after this, we'll have our offering 294, please. I would be true, for there are those who trust me. I would be pure, for there are those who care. I would be strong, for there is much to suffer. I would be brave, for there is much to dare. I would be brave, for there is much to dare. I would be friend of all the friendless. I would be giving and forget the gift. I would be humble, for I know my weakness. I would look up and laugh and love and live. I would look up and laugh and love and live. I would be prayerful through each busy moment. I would be constantly in touch with God. I would be tuned to hear His lightest whisper. I would have faith to keep the path Christ trod. I would have faith to keep the path Christ trod. For an offering statement, I'll simply share with you those words that we're so familiar with on the bottom of your contribution envelope. From Malachi, the 3rd chapter, 10th verse, simply stating, "Bring me all the tithes, and I will pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it." Now we realize that the Lord has blessed us so much and so richly, and all we ask is that we make an offering to Him of something that comes from our heart, whether it be financial, whether it be our time, our talents, whatever we can offer. As we offer it in love is acceptable to the Lord. Will you accept our offerings now? Father in heaven, once again we come before thee to make an offering to thee that we hope, Father, that you will accept it in the spirit which it is given. Father, we desire that to see thy work continue to go forward. So we ask, Father, that you might bless the funds that have been taken up to sustain this branch, to sustain this church, to sustain the work, Father. And may all glory from these things be given unto thee. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I'm going to share just a couple of words from the book of Psalms. So many times when I've had to offer something to a little gathering of the saints, and like this morning I didn't really get anything prepared. So often I just turn to the book of Psalms because it seems that in that particular book, and as well as perhaps Proverbs, another one, but particularly in the book of Psalms, it seems like there's a message in just every single one of them, and it's almost like we have this discussion going just from simply reading them. I'm going to share with you just a few verses from the 139th Psalm, the first 9 verses, and it reads like this. O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my downsitting and my uprising. Thou understandest my thought far off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain to it. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend unto heaven, thou art there. If I make thy bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. The Lord knows so much about us, there is nothing that he does not know. It's sometimes, I guess you might say, mind-boggling to try to understand how God can know each and every individual in the world and just what's on our minds, what we're thinking, what motivates us, and in spite of all that, still love us as much as he does. I have so many times tried to examine my own life and figure sometimes, Lord, are you sure you really want me to do what I'm doing? Are you sure you want me to serve you the way I'm serving you? And all I can figure, since he knows me so well, that there must be something else that he's still got for me to do. I haven't figured it out yet. But one thing I do know for certain, that the Lord has provided and watched over me and preserved me and brought me to this time and place. I think I shared with you before some of the experiences that I've had that kind of to me said that to me at least personally that the Lord has something that he wanted me to accomplish. In particular, what I'm referring to is there are about almost a half a dozen or more times that I can recall where I have faced an actual life-threatening situation. And every single one, I came through it with no problems at all. From automobile accidents, injuries, accidents with electricity where I touched something I shouldn't have. Things of this nature. I had a ceiling cave in on me at one time. Various things that happened where it easily could have snuffed me out quickly. And I figured, well, if the Lord goes to that trouble, he must have something for me. Well, like I said, the Lord knows us what we are capable of. He has a plan for all of us. And I guess the best thing that we can do is try our best to find out what it is he has for us to do and keep working to that end. We come here each week to learn what we can of the Lord, to worship the Lord, and to try to do whatever we can see as His will concerning us. That is probably, for most of us, going to be it. Just keep on trying until we accomplish that thing which the Lord has for us. Sometimes it's a bit evasive. Sometimes it's one of those situations where it'll take a long time before you find out what it is the Lord wanted you to do. A lot of times you'll have to look back on your life and say, what have I accomplished? What have I done? And sometimes that's when you'll realize what the Lord had for you to do. I wish I could come up with a better example than that, except to say that one of the things I know that the Lord has given me was the ability to be able to speak fairly decently and be understood. And as I look back on life and say, okay, Lord, I didn't know what you had for me, I kind of say, well, that's one of the things that He had for me to do, and maybe that's what He wants me to keep on doing. And if there's nothing further than that, then that's it for me. That He wanted me to just keep on sharing His Word, ministering as best I can, and doing that part. You as an individual have to search your own life to see what that is. Sometimes the Lord lets us know in advance. Most of the time He doesn't. But as I shared in the scripture there, the Lord does know us inside and out. He knows everything about us. He's with us at all times, and He will direct us if we are faithful to Him. I had only selected one other hymn before our prayer testimonies. As I said, I didn't have a prepared message for you this morning, just a few thoughts that I wanted to share. If you would turn your hymnal to hymn 343, we'll have our short time of prayer or testimony, as you may desire. There are only a few here this morning, so I know this, like I said, it's not going to be a long service for us, but all services are meaningful when you put your heart into it. 343. Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love, the fellowship of kindred minds is like to that above. Before our Father's throne, we pour our ardent prayers, our fears, our hopes, our aims, our wants, our comforts, and our cares. We share our mutual woes, our mutual burdens bear, and often for each other flows the sympathizing tear. When you mention pain, the memories fly away, and each in expectation lives and longs to see the day when from all sin and pain the ransom shall be free, and perfect love and friendship reign through all eternity. Well, I'm glad you carried that. I got my eyes got kind of scrambled up there, and I missed that last one. Appreciate you being able to carry it on for me like that. We have as much time as needed. Anyone who desires to share in prayer and testimony right now will be a good time. I think each week I've tried to come in with a little something in my mind and try to think, well, what can I say? What can I share that I haven't already done? I think people look around, those here, and I think I've just about gone through all my stories. I haven't had any new adventures in the past week. So I didn't have anything in particular in that respect. One thing I find is always been, at least for me anyway, it's been always fairly easy to do. I can always offer at least a prayer. And that's something I know that we all do. Some of us have a hard time praying publicly. It's been said that next to the fear of death, the most strongest fear that people have is that of public speaking. They'd rather take a beating than get up and make a speech. Believe it or not, I've felt that way for a long time too. Well, I still don't make good speeches unprepared. But does anybody want to share something this morning? Donna, please.
I'll just share a prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for this day. Thankful for the opportunity to come together to fellowship one another. Seek your presence, more abundance in our life. We are thankful that you continue to watch out for us. Thankful that your love is expounded upon us all the time. Even when we're facing situations, we know that you are there guiding the way, walking with us. We pray that we could be better stewards, Father, and pray that we make sure that we can attend to your voice and hear you, Father. And we could be doing the right things that would keep us close in tune with your Holy Spirit. We pray that would allow us to receive those things that you wish to guide us with, and we would be able to take those things and provide to others and share with others and just be part of your love and wishes. Father, pause to take note of individuals that in desperate need and really need your touching hand to guide them and to heal them and to work with them and move around. Raise up hate hearts and those that help find a way that she can be comforted. Her burdens would be lessened. Her love expresses. Pray for my father as he's dealing with this fracture in his spine and the pain that he's been going through. We ask him to help to try to lighten that pain somehow. Maybe just help lift him and carry him this short distance as he tries to heal that fracture. Father, be with each and every one of us. We love you so much, and we come together, and we're so happy and joyous when we're able to sit with our brothers and sisters in the sanctuary and pray that you would continue to be with us and shine your light upon us. Then, Father, I pray your continued blessings, your continued love, and our continued stewardship. In Jesus' name.
Thank you. Rick?
Yes, I'd like to add someone else to the prayer list if I could. I forgot to do this earlier, and that is my mother, Betty Thomas. As many of you know, she is in a nursing home. She's going on 102, and the so-called golden years aren't what they are always cracked up to be. Of course, that's a very long time to live. Don's going through it. and Arlene are going through it. But she's had a very difficult time right now here recently with her teeth. She has had caps over the years, and because she's had them for so long, I guess they're not designed for somebody to live for over 101 years. These caps are starting to break. And because of her age, and because of what would be necessary to replace them, some sort of oral surgery. Surgery on a 101-year-old is not going to happen. She would not even be able to find a doctor that would put his license on the line or something like that. So when she's had here in the last 6 months, well, actually in the last year, she's had 2 teeth that she did have the caps replaced because of the fact that the damage wasn't as severe. But now she's had 3-member or 4-member tooth bridge that has broken, which means she's not only losing 1 tooth, but she's losing 3 or 4 in a row. That would require oral surgery, and they're not going to do that, obviously. Then she just had another tooth, one of her front 2 teeth, top, that cap broke. And she just spent 2.5 hours on Friday going to a dentist and having him work on that tooth to end up leaving without a replacement yet because of the damage that was done. And you're talking about taking somebody from a nursing home, putting them in a van and transporting them to a dentist, making them sit. She's got very bad arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. So putting her into a wheelchair for 3.5 hours is very, very painful. And so it's very difficult, point blank. So if we could add her to the prayer list, she's having a difficult time. And to keep her spirits up right now is tough. Never seen her quite get this down and out. I mean, it's almost like she sees some sort of writing on the wall that her days are numbered. Before, it wasn't like that. So, and if you don't have the right spirit to keep pushing forward and you give up, then things